Prince Harry and Meghan Markle made it abundantly clear from the start that they wished to distance themselves from the formal responsibilities and protocols of the British royal family. Yet, in a striking contradiction, they harbored hopes that their children, Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet, would still retain the prestigious royal titles of Prince and Princess, as well as the esteemed style of His or Her Royal Highness. This apparent double standard, a desire to relinquish royal duties while preserving royal privileges for their offspring, has now been met with firm resistance from the Crown. In a landmark decision, King Charles III, with backing from the House of Lords, has officially revoked the royal titles and privileges of Archie and Lilibet. This act is far more than a mere formality. It signals a profound institutional assertion that the monarchy will not allow its centuries-old legacy to be commodified or exploited for personal gain. This moment represents a watershed in modern royal history, marking a clear line drawn by the sovereign to protect the dignity and traditions of the crown from the increasingly commercial and media-centric approaches of the Sussexes. The legal foundation for this revocation reaches back over a century, to a decree issued by King George V in 1917 during the turbulent times of World War I, seeking to simplify and regulate the royal family's titles amidst growing public scrutiny and Republican sentiments. George V limited the use of HRH and princely titles to the children of the sovereign, the male line grandchildren, and the eldest son of the Prince of Wales. This restriction meant that under Queen Elizabeth II's reign, Harry's children were not automatically entitled to princely titles, despite the couple's personal preferences. However, once Charles ascended the throne in 2022, Archie and Lilibet technically became eligible. Despite this technical eligibility, the royal establishment evidently concluded that the Sussexes' ongoing media exploits and public critiques of the monarchy had irreparably breached the trust and decorum expected of the institution. Insiders reveal that Meghan Markle was reportedly shocked and furious by the decision, receiving no prior informal warning, but instead a formal notice severing their children's royal recognition. For Meghan, who has carefully cultivated a public image positioning her children as rightful heirs with royal status, this was a crushing blow. Living in California and removed physically and symbolically from the British royal sphere, Archie and Lilibet's titles had increasingly come to represent branding and status symbols, rather than markers of service or duty. Critics have long argued that Harry and Meghan capitalized on their royal heritage to leverage lucrative media deals, including multi-million-dollar contracts with Netflix and Spotify, and a best-selling memoir, while simultaneously airing grievances against the institution that afforded them such opportunities. The tipping point for the royal family and political establishment came as the Sussexes openly challenged and denounced royal traditions, all while attempting to retain the benefits of royalty through their children's identities. A senior UK lawmaker candidly remarked, "You cannot monetize the monarchy while simultaneously attacking it, and expect your children to inherit titles from the very institution you've trashed." This sentiment has united royal traditionalists and political leaders alike, leading to what insiders describe not as a retaliatory move, but a necessary institutional correction to preserve the monarchy's integrity. Although Meghan has occasionally continued to use the Her Royal Highness style in selective American social and media circles, public opinion in Britain increasingly favors stripping the Sussex children of any formal royal status. Polls consistently show a growing majority supporting the idea that royal privileges should be reserved exclusively for working royals who fulfill public duties and uphold the family's long-standing customs. For Meghan, royal titles have long been a strategic asset. When Archie was initially born without a princely title, Meghan publicly suggested that race may have played a role, despite clear royal protocols limiting title eligibility. Since then, she has made concerted efforts to portray her children as legitimate royals, including authoring children's books and orchestrating public appearances designed to cement their status. This continued promotion has been controversial given that Archie and Lilibet have never engaged in official royal duties nor resided within the royal establishment. The removal of their titles now carries very real consequences beyond symbolism. Archie and Lilibet will lose formal protections including royal security, funding, and their place in official royal registers and ceremonies. They become, in all legal and institutional respects, private citizens, fully severed from the monarchy they once belonged to by birthright. This not only ends their formal roles within royal life, but also signals a broader repudiation of the Sussexes attempt to straddle the line between royal privilege and private independence. The move also underscores the ramifications of Harry and Meghan's media strategy. Their highly publicized grievances with royal life, including the infamous Oprah Winfrey interview and Harry's memoir Spare, have made any hopes of reconciliation tenuous at best. Their narrative of victimhood contrasted sharply with their relentless retention of royal branding, creating a glaring contradiction that the palace ultimately found untenable. King Charles and the House of Lords' decision stands as a firm declaration. Royal titles are not mere decorations, but symbols of service, loyalty, and responsibility. When those duties are rejected or abandoned, so too must the titles that accompany them. Meghan's apparent plan to maintain royal prestige without royal obligations has now officially failed. This moment marks the definitive end of the Sussexes' influence within the royal framework. The fairy tale narrative many believed in, of Archie and Lilibet as future heirs with royal roles, has been formally dismantled. They are now American citizens raised outside the royal tradition, and without institutional privileges or protections. The Crown's message is unambiguous. Walking away from duty means relinquishing royal identity. The palace has chosen action over words, decisively reclaiming control over its image and legacy. It rejects any attempt to commodify or commercialize royal heritage for personal gain. For Prince Harry, once a cherished and prominent royal figure, the cost of rebellion is now painfully clear, not just for himself, but for the very children he once sought to protect.